Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled "I'm an Idiot for Not Knowing the Difference Between Sharpies." This took place in the dollar store and was around 8 p.m. right before closing. I was in the toy tech aisle looking for movie-themed Hot Wheels cars as my dollar store sells the new ones. For any Canadian reading this, these dollar store workers wear green aprons with yellow lettering on them, so you kinda get the gist. I was wearing an Avengers shirt, an open winter coat, hat, boots, the typical, when it snows it's gonna suck, winter look. This lady came up to me and asked me if I knew where the markers were for a whiteboard. I was kind as they were behind me, so I showed her. She then did the scoff of a Karen and I began to walk away as it was snowing heavy. She will be M for entitled Mom and I'll be FML for regretting all the decisions that brought me here. I should get some Hot Wheels cars during a snowstorm, stupidity. By the way, no kid, because even though this lady is batcrap crazy, I'm guessing she was smart enough to leave her kid at home. This one I snapped LMAO. She was nuts and I couldn't take it. Hello? These are not whiteboard markers. You are wrong. FML. They say whiteboard markers, lady. Like IDK. But these aren't the right ones for my precious baby. FML. Okay, I don't see how this is my issue. Begins to walk away. No, you don't get to walk away. I still need your help finding the right ones. FML. Nope, I don't work here. And whiteboard markers are whiteboard markers, lady. Excuse me, no. I want the Sharpie brand. I want the Sharpie ones. I want them. FML. Ducking, really, lady? Really? This is the dollar store and you think they're gonna have Sharpie crap everywhere? They only have these permanent markers, oh my lord, lady. Snatches the markers, see, you did have the right ones. There was no need to be rude. I will be speaking to your manager about this. How do you not know the difference between Sharpies, you ducking a-hole? Ah, there it is. I couldn't keep a straight face and laughed. This made her more mad and she left to complain to the manager. Later in line. Takes up 5 minutes complaining about me to one of my FAV staff members. Staff, sees me but doesn't make it obvious. In line, another Karen who was complaining about everything turns her complaints towards midway through complaining again. Karen. OMG, WHO cares, it's been 5 minutes, lady. WHO cares, just hurry up. Has been challenged, I don't need to hurry up. I am a customer and you should respect what US customers have to deal with. Just to get whiteboard markers. Shows them. Karen. You dumb idiot, those are permanent markers. You took up my precious time to blah blah blah. These two go at it for a minute of jabbering before the staff member calls a security code. I'm not too sure how high the code hash was, but a guard appeared like, bro, where have you been? Both paid and then left after that, probably to square off till their Karen powers break the universe. For me, I was pissing myself laughing as it was a battle for the ages. Like if Starscream squared off with another, more entitled Starscream. I got my stupid cars, and to mildly paraphrase Ron White, some say that if you listen closely, between that hum of the lights, typing of cash registers, and customers quietly shopping, you can still hear ducking jabbering. The next story is titled I Worked Here 6 months ago. In the times before a personal issue happened in November, I, 17F, worked at a local hobby store named after an archangel. I stocked shelves, cleaned up after people tried all the markers on anything nearby and would leave them in whatever cubby that was in reach, and I would cashier a few nights a week. Making the big money to afford my daily girly needs. I quit working there because of the personal issue. This past Monday I went in there to get some art supplies for a project the therapist recommended and to see how I feel about going back out into the world. I was dressed in a large black baggy hoodie and baggy sweats, nothing like an employee. My earbuds were in but not on, they dull the noise but don't completely make it silent. I heard the click of someone wearing heels, a distinctive sound. The sound stopped and I could see a shadow darken me as I looked at drawing pads. My heart started speeding up and I was beginning to sweat. Then she said those words, "Excuse me." It wasn't dripping with contempt, yet. Yes? I say back. Where are the little painting cups to paint the porcelain Christmas villages? She did ask nicely. I tell her I don't know. And she got mad. You do know where they are. So where are they? I step back and begin to shake. I don't know. I don't work here. Yes, you do. You helped me find stuff last Halloween. Quit lying to me and tell me where the paints are. I begin to have a panic attack. It's been 6 months since I worked here, and the store's been rearranged. Oh, my God. You kids are so lazy. You think because there's a worker shortage you can just do what want and not get fired for mouthing off to customers. I'll show you how ducking wrong you are when I get your manager and get you fired. I drop the supplies I was holding and turn to leave. I'm not crying. I just want to be away from this crazy lady. Then she grabs me. As I'm spun to face her again, she shoves her finger in my face and the screeching is piercing even with the headphones on. And things went to black. When I came back to reality, I was being checked on by paramedics. A few police officers were standing around with the lady in handcuffs screeching. I didn't do anything to her. She is just crazy. I can't believe this place hires crazy idiotes. I ended up going to the hospital. The lady is being charged with assault. I'll find out more in the future since this just a few days old. What happened to me? I read the statements from the police report and from what a few former coworkers told me. When she grabbed me, I fell to the ground going into the fetal position whimpering that I don't work here, I don't work here, I don't work here. Some customers saw what was going on and got the manager. Someone else called 911. The lady just stood there with her mouthfish gaping and repeating, I didn't touch her. After a night in the hospital, a visit with my therapist, I'm home and waiting for a delivery from Amazon with the supplies I went to get. I'm glad the world is homebound friendly these days. The next story is titled My New Neighbor Thinks She Can Park Anywhere. This is also currently happening and my so is witnessing it and texting me as I'm at work. So if you missed my last post, I had a new neighbor move into my building and she left notes on everyone's doors saying she had brought the building and gave us insane rules to follow. She does not own the building but only a unit or apartment. Jury is still out if she is insane or stupid. She has been quiet for the last few days and I thought maybe that's it? Apparently I was wrong. So each unit in our building is allocated one parking space. Just one. I park in mine and my so parks his car on the street on the other side of the building. Our parking lot had one visitor space. It's a very small parking lot, 6 spots for residents and 1 visitor. The visitor spot is nearly always empty and my neighbors have said my so could park his car there if he wanted as we are the only unit with 2 cars but he doesn't mind parking where he is. This morning my so woke up to yelling. Our kitchen window overlooks the parking lot and he snuck a peek out the window and saw entitled neighbor standing next to our nice neighbor's car and they were arguing loudly. She kept yelling that she had a second car and needed to park in his spot and he had to move his car or else she would have it towed. He kept repeating that it was his parking spot and she could either park it in the visitor spot or on the street and if she towed his car he would report it stolen. So said she kept yelling she can park where she wants and he needed to move it or else so my so decided to park his car in my empty spot in case she tried to park there while I'm at work. Last message he sent me, she has stormed upstairs in a huff and slammed her door. The next story is titled Could You Still Make a Reservation Then? I know there are lots of other stories like this but it reminded me of my own. When I was younger, back when home phones were still a thing, I was really ill for months at a time. I missed out on half a year of school due to illness. Now because I was home all day, I was there to answer any calls our home phone got. Every now and again I would get a call and answer it how I normally would. Hi, so-and-so here, how can I help you? And every time I would get, hi, could I please make a reservation for 6 p.m. tonight? Or, hi, just checking this as restaurant name in Melbourne. After about 15 plus calls of people believing this number was some restaurant in Melbourne, I googled the restaurant name. The number that Google suggested was for some reason my home phone number. When I went onto the actual website of the restaurant I could find their actual number so I called them to let them know that Google had messed up and I kept getting calls on behalf of this restaurant. They apologized and told me they would look into it. Even still, I continued to get calls for like a month before Google eventually got around to changing it. One of the more memorable days was Valentine's Day. I kept getting a call every half hour. Every time I would say sorry but Google actually has the wrong number. Listen. To find the actual restaurant number, go to their website and you can find it. Now this worked fine for most people but there was this one lady who didn't seem to get the message. Keep in mind I was a sick and tired sassy 14-year-old girl who worked at Kmart when I wasn't sick. She called frantically stating that she absolutely needed a reservation for 7 p.m. that night. Ducking trying to find a goddamn Valentine's reservation 6 hours beforehand and what seemed to be a pretty nice restraint in the heart of Melbourne, Australia's most highly populated, nicest cities. I informed her that I actually wasn't the restaurant and to find their number on their website. Apparently this was too hard of a task for this lady's small brain to comprehend. "Oh, but you're the number Google gave me." "Yes, I know, madam. Google accidentally made an error because my phone number is 1 digit different to the actual restaurant. Google has been informed and they are in the process of changing it. Can't you still make a reservation for me?" "No, ma'am. I don't work there. I don't even live in the same state as that restaurant." How ridiculous. This is absolutely appalling customer service. If Google is going to list your number as the number for that restaurant, I am going to expect some level of customer service and assistance. Now please understand that I hadn't had a full meal in over 4 months as any food that went into my system came straight back up. I was tired, sick, constantly hungry, and this lady had interrupted my game of solitaire. So I let it rip. "Excuse me, idiot, I am not affiliated with that restaurant in any way. I'm a 14-year-old sheik from Queensland who is home from school sick. It is not my fault that Google messed up, and it is also not my fault that you are too stupid to simply hang up and go onto their website to make a reservation. It's also not my fault that your dumbass thinks that there is any way in hell that you are going to be getting a reservation for ducking Valentine's Day, 6 hours beforehand." I then promptly hung up and thankfully didn't hear from her afterwards. I think it was a week or so after that conversation that Google finally updated the number on the website. The next story is titled, "I Don't Work Here Lady," and everyone started laughing hard. So this happened earlier today. Little introduction. I am currently in Morocco, and here it's common to have little shops of like 4 square meters where they sell groceries and fix you basic sandwiches and tea. Now the shop I usually go to has the cash desk on the inside and a big open window on the wall that faces the road with a little counter for 2 customers to use while standing to eat. Now for the story. For lunch, I decided to go to this shop to get a classic, eggs, bread, cheese and a mint tea. I enter the shop, I greet the owner and order my sandwich and tea. With me, 2 other customers talking kinda seriously with the shop owner about football. While I am enjoying my tea at the counter facing outside, I see a lady with a man on the sidewalk coming towards the shop. At that moment, the lady stops in front of me on the other side of the counter and asks me in Moroccan Arabic if we have a very specific brand of sparkling water. I therefore try and answer in a mix of French and Arabic that the shop has it but that I don't work there, with what must have been a very confused facial expression. At that point, the lady apologizes for mistaking me for the shop owner. While starting to laugh, the man next to her started laughing too, as well as the real shop owner behind the register and 2 other men that were in the shop chatting with the real employee. I answer that it's no problem while getting influenced by the laugh too. The lady and the man then enter the shop, grab the water and say to the shop owner, "I have mistaken him because I saw the counter and I thought it was where you usually stay to sell things," all of this while everyone is happily chuckling. Before going out she taps my shoulder, apologizes again with a big smile and wishes me a good day. The chuckling continued for a minute or so, the football talks restarted but this time with a happy mood and smiles. It was a good day. The next story is titled Impatient Shoe Hag. Shopping for shoes, I found 1 pair and the employee helping me took them to the register while I looked for another pair. After finding another pair, I went to the register. There was a lady waiting there, so I went beside the register and placed my shoes on top of the first box. I then walked back and stood 15 feet behind the lady, preparing to wait for a cashier to return. I look up and she looks back at me. "Lady, isn't anyone working here?" Me. "Yes, I assume they are busy right now." L. "Shouldn't the customer come first?" M. "I would assume she is helping a customer." L. "Well, I'm a customer." M. "The world doesn't revolve around you." L. "That's a piss poor attitude to have for an employee." M. "I don't work here." L. "Good," as she storms off to her car. M. "It's people like you that make people not want to work in the service industry." I only wish I could hear the story she told her poor husband who was waiting in the car. The next story is titled Mistaken by the show manager for one of the performers. When I was 15, I went to see the national touring production of Cats, and since I was a big fan and I'd never seen it before, I went in costume, which was a trend for Cats fans. I wanted to get pictures with the actors after, and I thought it would be more fun in costume. I was waiting in the lobby for the show to start and a lot of people asked to take a picture with me. I said yeah because I was a passive teenager who wasn't great at saying no lol. They probably thought I was a cast member because my costume was mostly accurate. But then a man came out and started telling me I had to get backstage. I wasn't allowed out in the lobby before the show and I shouldn't have been taking pictures with people. I was really confused, and then he realized I wasn't one of the actors in the musical, just a kid in a costume. He was the tour manager. He was really lovely and said if I came back the next night he would give me a tour of the stage, which he did. I got lots of cool photos and autographs with the cast and talked to the crew as well. It was a wonderful experience for a nerdy kid and probably the best I don't work here outcome you could have. The next story is titled Actual Employee and Owner Mistakes Me for Employee. I recently got reminded of this one. I was a 13 to 14F who tried to buy new jeans because her last one got accidentally ripped apart by an overjoyed puppy. Broke me got in this jean store with a big 50% off sign and started to look around. The store was very confusing. Not big but a tiny labyrinth, and I couldn't for the love of me figure out where the women's section should be. So socially awkward me decided to put on her big girl pants and ask somebody. I go to the counter and before I could say a thing the guy behind the counter was already furious with me. "Where have you been? We have been waiting for you for hours now. Why don't you answer your phone?" Followed by my very intelligent reply. "What?" Well, I stood there dumbfounded and scared. I was a small shy girl, and that guy was tall and spoke too loud for comfort. He goes on with, "We're going to Mr. Insert name boss. No excuses. Come with me now." Little dumb, scared me followed that guy mostly because my brain refuses to process what just happened. This was long before I knew of the existence of Reddit. We go to a hidden part of the store hidden by a wall, and I saw the women's section. My brain, remembering what I was here for, told my feet to go that way but forgot about the guy. The guy grabs me by my arm and forces me in a different direction. We reach a little office. And by little, I mean cramped small. A desk, a lot of papers and orders everywhere. A man sitting on an office chair, papers in hand, the guy and me. The guy closes the door and none of us had any space to move. The guy greets the man as Mr. Boss and said, "I found her. She was just wandering in." Mr. Boss, now looking at me, gives me a speech about responsibility and being on time. The best my brain could come up with in this situation was the question if this store has other times for customers allowed to coming in. Did I miss the time frame? While Mr. Boss was busy with his speech, the wheels in my brain began to turn. Does he think I work here? But a boss should know his own employees, shouldn't he? I tried to muster enough courage to speak, but out came only a shy, "I don't work here." Mr. Boss looks at me and then pulled out an application letter. "Are you not, insert random name?" Me shaking my head. He is looking at the picture and my face repeatedly. "That's not her." I looked at the picture. A girl my age, same hair and eye color but different face features. He mums belt something about today should be her first day of work, but she never showed up, apologized, and asked me why I haven't said anything and dismissing me instantly. The counter guy brought me to the front and outside the store. Basically, I was politely kicked out. Dumbfounded again. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear